Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 555 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am joined today on this glorious Friday by two of the greatest geeks who you're ever going to meet, who are going to pretend that they are in low Earth orbit for the better part of 30 minutes and talk about whatever crap is on a subreddit. I have Chris DeMona.
Sup, yo?
Rob Roseboom.
Hey,
At the rate I'm going, I'm going to get that whole spiel down. I'm just going to I should just plug that spiel right into like a macro button, and then I don't have to say it.
Yeah, you should.
All right. There's lots
of... Do it once really well.
I mean, I haven't done it really well yet, so when I get there...
You don't really have to worry about saying it faster because you could just play it.
That's true.
At faster speed then, right? You could chipmunks it.
That's true. All right. Let's see what's on the list today. Okay, you went right to the end. Good job. Twitch suspended the dude who played DragonForce for playing his own song. Apparently, this dude gets on Twitch all the time, and like he's a streamer, and he just does his Looney Tunes licks. And he got kicked off for violating his own copyright, which is pretty awesome.
So did someone file a claim against him, or was it their automated system? It's not that it's like years behind YouTube's automated system.
I gotta assume that it was an automated system, but I mean, that said, people like the Lindsay Ellis thing, right? Like obviously people were manually clicking a report button on her.
Well, in her case, yeah. So, and she was talking about, Addison Kane's, actual DMCA claims, which are like when we get a copyright strike for playing over 8 seconds or 10 seconds of a thing. That's actually pretty different from a DMCA takedown notice
for sure.
being submitted. So
for sure.
What's interesting about this is, here's my question. So he might be the DragonForce guitarist, but does he own copyright to the music that DragonForce had? So.
I think he's legit. I think he's the dude, but there might be a song, like a recording owned by somebody. So he gets off of it. I guess my point with the Lindsay Ellis thing was that are the machines the thing that are causing the trouble, or are the haters the things that are causing the trouble?
Yeah, you have to make your machines durable against hate. Oh, so okay, this is long enough ago that I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. Back about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, news stations were taking NASA broadcasts, and they were filing DMCA claims, and Content ID was screwing up, honestly.
Yeah.
Against people who were showing the same launch.
Yeah.
Because the pixels were similar, and so, you'd have Sony making a claim against NASA for a shuttle launch or a capsule launch, and it's like, no, not okay. So I set a little reminder in my my calendar that every quarter I would contact the Content ID people and remind them that NASA was really important to me. And I'm like,
NASA.
let's not give NASA any content strikes. They're like, yes, Chris, God, stop calling us. And I'm like, texting us, emailing us.
You didn't listen the first time.
And I'm like, this is when I was running part of our relationship with NASA and Ames. And I'm like, no. I'm just going to make sure that you understand this is important to get right, And the guy running Content ID at the time was a old friend, and actually a person who used to work for me. So he's like, Chris, I love talking to you, but do we have to talk about this again? I'm like, we do.
Rocket launches, man. It's weird because there's a lot of overlaid problems here. Like that's the version where you're literally just copying a video. And there's copyright involved, whatever. But then there's this guy who's actually performing his own song. Like it's a live performance of his own thing. And that's a different level, I suppose, for copyright match technology too. I mean, like you have to assume, maybe that just means that this guy is capable of playing so precisely every single time that he can trip his own content ID, in which case, that's awesome.
And then it brings up the question, can you do a cover of your own song that you don't own the rights to? Right?
Well, that, and also we had people getting DMCA complaints from classical music producers.
For sure.
when they were making out of copyright, Beethoven's Fifth or whatever. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really interesting issues here that
I'm glad it ain't my job.
Well, it's all part of.
Well,
everything.
it's one of those things, right? Because you have it's a problem that exists on the polls. You have a million bad cases on one end where innocent people are screwed, and then you have a million really horrible cases where people are just being jerks on the other end, and then a bunch of people just get kind of churned in the middle, which sucks. So this story is pretty funny, but Disney was CGIing masks on top of people on their rides if they weren't wearing masks, and then they're not doing that anymore.
Incredible. Well, they're not doing it anymore.
No, they stopped.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
No, the story was maybe not this story. There was a follow-up story that said Disney was going to stop doing that, which is really funny. But I love the idea that somebody had whatever the Disney equivalent of the 20% project is, and they're like, all right, I'm going to figure out if I can facial detect and put masks on people. It's awesome.
So I admit, if I got the the vaccine and my son did, I would probably go to Disney World. I'm keeping a better time to go to Disney World than
Not
now.
A lot of lines.
Oh yeah, friends of ours went just before they locked everything down, right?
Yep.
And then even then the park was amazingly open.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
I mean, I feel actually kind of bad for Disney on that.
Oh, you should feel super bad for those employees. They're laying off everybody and not giving them health insurance. Yeah. It's if you work for the, I follow actually a fair number of people who are connected in the Disney universe.
Disneyverse.
Yeah. Well, I watch a lot of videos on the YouTubes about the theme parks. I like the theme parks a lot, and I'll watch roller coaster videos and theme park videos to death. But they laid off thousands of people, and I mean, I don't know. It's a really shitty situation for all of them. But anyway, they put masks on people, then they didn't. It's funny, kind of.
Yeah. No, so a friend of mine, I think I said they go to Disney on Christmas, like over Christmas, and it's apparently just fantastic. Like because no one's there.
I haven't been to Disney since the 80s, and I would love to go again, but my children have no interest whatsoever.
Just slap a tablet in their hands during the lines. That's all.
Yeah, that's not going to work. You spend a few more hours with my oldest, and you'll understand. I get it. So let's see. Let's do the curved CMOS thing, just because I think that's crazy cool. That is it's a camera sensor, and it's curved, which means you can theoretically have thinner lenses. And obviously, the bottleneck right now for high resolution photography on your phone is pretty much the thickness of the lens. And by just putting a little bit of curve on the camera sensor, you can have thinner lenses and all kinds of cool new options. And that looks really neat to me. You should read that article. It's neat.
It is, but so they say something very specific in the article. They're like the first commercial curved CMOS sensor, and I'm like, but we've had curved sensors. Is the clarifier?
I thought they used those, but the clarifier is the curve, right? And it's something that could theoretically be built and be mass produced, right? Because aren't curved sensors generally something that we build for like astrophotography and stuff? But those are niche applications, not mainstream commercial ones. That was my impression.
Yes. I mean, well, yeah.
So how much?
Neat. Let's just agree it's cool.
That's all I wanted to say. I think that's cool? Neat. Well, it
is, and for years and years already, the best camera in this house has been in a phone.
Yeah.
They have the one you carry.
They have amazing picture taking abilities now.
It's neat because for 100 years of photography, it was about the film and the lenses, and then for like a couple of decades, it really maybe even only like 15 or 20 years, it was all about the sensor, right? But now we're to the point where like if you just add another couple megapixels to your sensor, it ain't gonna really matter. So now
Yeah,
it's
it comes
just
down
about
to the
these
optical
these
quality.
teensy tiny lenses that are the size of your fingernail, and they're really amazing. How much plastic have you eaten today, Rob?
Well, I've had not quite my recommended daily dose yet, but I have.
Gross.
I mean, I've done my part. I've eaten all the plastic pop rings I find around the neighborhood every morning, to help
Sure.
fight against the sea turtles and those sorts of things. So
Sure. So the story that did you share this one, or did I find this one independently of you?
I think we've talked about it before, but
well, we've talked about. I think I shared this. I think I put this on there because we were talking about this like last week. But somebody put up like plastic examples of how much plastic we're eating, but using real world pieces of plastic like credit cards and Lego bricks. So just in case you're curious, how many Lego bricks worth of plastic you eat a year? There you go.
That's kind of great, honestly. That's kind of great.
That made me happy.
All right, so I'll be right back. I'm going to get you the reason why I have so many plastic bags.
Are you building a Lego thing that's gigantic? While he's gone, Rob, let's see. Did you watch the video of the iPhone falling out of an airplane?
I did not.
Since Chris controls the mouse, and he's back.
Hi.
What'd you build, Chris?
Okay, here. Let me get the iPhone thing up here. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah, it's a pretty short video. Oh, you did the Apollo one.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That.
It's amazing. So
how many pieces?
1,900 something. But yeah, it took me about 2.5 hours to build. 2 hours.
If
it
I
comes
were
apart in stages.
Of course it does. It has the little tiny lem, right?
Yeah, it's got the little lem, and I actually put it inside the fairing.
They make a actual like lunar module set as well, which obviously it's bigger.
That's next.
Yeah, I bet. So in my closet right now, I have the Lego Star Wars Slave 1, the UCS X-Wing, and I have the brand new 5,000 piece Millennium Falcon, and they've all been sitting in there for me to be sad and need to pick me up. And that Slave 1 is going to get made soon. God, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Command mod.
Anyway, you should watch that video of the phone falling. It actually, the thing that's weird to me, and this is something that I've never jumped out of an airplane. It's not really something that
I think Uriah has. He's done that.
I had an insurance policy that said I couldn't jump out of an airplane for like a few years, and then I got old and decided I wouldn't jump out of an airplane because I was old. But the thing that I never really understood about jumping out of an airplane is how long. Michael Collins is up here, phoning back to Houston. I never understood how long you really are in free fall. Like, that's not something that you get a sense of, because in a movie, if somebody's going to jump out of an airplane, it's going to be like 6 minutes long with like lots of cuts and edits, and it was actually 100 jumps that are spliced together, or they put up a parachute. And this actually gives you a pretty good sense, I think, of how long. I mean, I don't know how high up they were, a couple thousand feet, but it only takes a few seconds for that thing to hit the ground.
Well, he's not wearing oxygen, so he's probably not above about 10,000 feet at most.
And I don't know what the terminal velocity of an iPhone is compared to a person. Right.
New from the original dono.
Thanks, Internet. You're better now than when we were little.
These one-step lattes are so rich and creamy.
Right?
Yep.
Coffee, sweetener.
You understand that the mute is an illusion.
That's insulting.
It really is.
I'm waiting for it to get to the thing where he drops it, and then I'll. Well, it's in Portuguese.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, gravity might be different over there.
Like, because they're closer to the equator?
Well, it depends. I don't know if that means they're in Brazil or Portugal.
I think it said in the article. How do I? Yeah, whatever that does. All right, here we go. So he's He was doing it with his fancy cam, and now he's got his iPhone. He's like, "Hey, check it out! I'm using my."
Oh no! Oh, I'm not too smart. Oh, hope I had the insurance pack. Does Apple Care cover that?
He asked the guy to turn around.
There you go. It's got some twirl to it, man.
Yeah, it's in a flat spin or something, you know.
Yeah.
No, this is
bam. It's already down.
Bam.
But you see what I'm saying? Like when you see somebody jump out of an airplane, it's like 3 minutes of like cool cuts and edits, you know. And but that was just like 5 seconds, and it's down.
Yeah, they were probably only a couple thousand.
Yeah, they weren't that high.
You know? We could time it and figure it out. Oh, crack screen.
Apple Care not going to cover that.
No. Yeah, but he's in Spain, Brazil. He can get it replaced easy at the corner shop.
So did you see the picture of the snowflakes? You guys were complaining about, who's it, Mervold who did it?
Yeah, is that Mervold?
Do you not like him? I don't know his deal. I mean, I just know him because he shows up every now and then.
30,000 companies shell companies that he set up to sue people.
Oh, cool.
So he's kind of a troll.
He was pretty nice when I had to set up interviews with him. So there's that.
Oh, sure. No, he's super avuncular. He wants people to talk about what he does, and then he'll find a way of suing you for looking at snow.
That seems reasonable. Snow is evil.
And he was really into food science.
Yeah, he was the macro gastronomy photography thing for years. He did like the thousands of pages
of modernist cuisine.
Yeah.
Which I refuse to buy because it's by Nathan Mulroney.
Okay, I mean, also it was thousands of pages.
Writing that, he was complaining to the USPTO that he couldn't patent recipes and trademark collections of individual recipe lists.
Classy.
Because he felt that he was deserved, for finding out all this stuff in molecular gastronomy, which he did.
I've discovered something. It's called cumin.
I own the
cumin when it's done in a vacuum chamber.
I own the copyright to Swiss cheese, so I hope you don't want a Reuben. Otherwise, you owe me 10 cents.
I was thinking about getting a Reuben today.
Yeah, we have a sandwich shop on the island that's actually really tasty. Although they don't toast their bread enough.
You can probably just ask.
Well, it's COVID. You order online, then you got to call them.
There ain't a lot of clicks. There's a story here that's actually kind of interesting. Elderly patients 23% more likely to die if surgery is on the surgeon's birthday.
Right?
I mean, it makes sense, right? You should also load up Blop Opera.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It's slow. Yeah, that was just, and if you actually went in, it's 23% more likely to die. It's not 23% more deaths or whatever. It's a pretty minuscule actual effect, but it's legit, and they proved it. And there you go. Don't have surgery on your surgeon's birthday.
Medicine's hard.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they must have done studies, but I wonder if this is true. After, say, the Super Bowl or the World Series or other big events that you might go to, and you might have been disappointed or out late. I mean, surgeons are people, right? So anything that would affect a person.
There's a lot of weird stuff like that, like how the medicines that you prescribe and the diagnoses that you make change over the course of a shift. So basically, as you get tired, you become more likely to throw in the towel and less likely to prescribe more difficult treatments. It's the same thing, I'm sure. Human factors.
There's all kinds of interesting human factors in medicine. Women are more likely to get surgeries before they need to. Men are more likely to wait too long and die as a result. It's don't go before a judge on a Friday or a Monday.
Yeah.
It's like
and
I want to make sure that if I ever get arrested or go to jail and or get surgery in jail, that I only do it on a Wednesday or something. So
don't spend too much time if you don't want to be depressed reading about how black women get different medical treatment.
Oh no,
there's this
women
super
with, like,
racist
maternal
thing.
mortality.
Yeah,
I mean, they practically killed Serena Williams. It's like, dude, can we stop killing black people just for like one fucking second?
Not by the doctors, for crying out loud. Yeah, that's a weird one too. I guess they've done studies and proven that doctors are less likely to prescribe black women pain medicine. It's just like, whoa.
Well, no, like there were surgical texts that basically said that black people don't experience pain like white people. And it's like, are you
crazy
kidding me? Oh, it's just, you know.
God. Have you ever noticed that people suck?
Subjective too. It drives me nuts. Like, you know, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does this hurt? And I always think, well, you know, everyone has a different idea about what that means.
Oh, know? That's not going to work.
Like a 10 means that I can't tell you that I'm experiencing a 10 worth of pain because I'm barely conscious. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so here's a funny thing. I went to a doctor one time with a thing, and he was like, he asked me and I'd never been asked the pain question before, and he was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no pain and 10 being the most pain you've ever felt, how much pain are you feeling right now, or how much pain did you feel during the thing? And I was like, this is the most pain I've ever felt. It was a 10, and I think because of that, I'm now on like the drug seeking list. Because whenever I go to a hospital with any kind of issue whatsoever, I'm sure that there's like an asterisk. It's like, he said he had a 10 this one time, and it truly was the most pain that I'd ever felt. So I answered.
And it also depends on where you live. Like, since I moved out here, they don't give you pain medicine for anything. And I won't say what hospital it was that my wife got Vicodin twice for a sore throat and for an earache.
A sore throat?
A sore throat.
Wow.
Right.
So hospital pill popping, you know, that's something. No, when I dislocated my shoulder, I didn't want to scare my son who was skiing with me. And I was like, I just need some help. Could you get a ski patrol person? And they took me to the urgent care there on the mountain, and they didn't believe me that I dislocated my shoulder. And I didn't really even believe me either, because I had never done it before. I was like, I don't know. It just hurts a lot, right? And they're like, yeah, it's probably not a dislocation. I'm like, okay. And so he took my stuff off, and they're like, oh gosh. You know? They're like, your shoulder's dislocated. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's what I told you. And I was like, what? And they're like, well, we didn't believe you. And I'm like, but why not? Oh, you weren't screaming. That really hurts. And
right?
I'm like, I didn't want to scare my kid. And they're like, oh no, but that really hurts. And I'm like, oh, I know. Can we fix it, please?
So it doesn't look like Blop.
Pull and rotate it. Sorry.
It doesn't. No, it's me. It doesn't look like Blop Opera is going to stream quick enough.
Yeah, it's too stuttery. I don't know if it's this machine or if it's how the connections are built in Chrome, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's something about that app in specific. It's not taking advantage of the stuff that Chrome has built in to accelerate.
Oh, I know
sharing.
what it is. I shut off hardware acceleration so I could share better.
Who needs hardware acceleration? Did you see the hyper-realistic masks? I want to know.
Yes.
I want to know how we can have hyper-realistic masks made of each other, and then like throughout random episodes of Geeks in Space, put on each other's masks and become each other. Oh,
part of it is, I think. Oh, goodbye, Chris.
Screw that guy.
Part of it, I think, would be though you would need someone to help apply the mask to you. You know, it'd be really hard to do it yourself. You need someone to make sure that the contours are where they're supposed to be and that sort of thing.
I guess in my use case of us trying to fool a Zoom call, you're probably right. But I imagine that if you were just trying to fool a security camera as you're walking down a street, you probably don't need to be that specific. But I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The facial recognition on my phone, basically, you just, you know, you throw anything that has a bunch of hair on it in front of my phone and it will unlock saying it's my face.
Right. So. It's a rough estimate.
Yeah.
Chris, pull out there's a little Christmas slider on the bottom. It switches. click it. It's really funny. Click. Here's some festive songs. And you can mess with it while it's playing. Pull them. If you go left and right, it changes the vowel.
Well, I know what at least a couple hours of my day is going to be today.
Okay. Help. All right, I just muted Chris. Can't hear. I played with that for a long time. That was really fun.
Weird was I turned on hardware acceleration. I hit relaunch, thinking it would just do that tab.
Nope. Nope.
But now it's like performing, man. It's like using all those 2080 Super CUDA cores, you know.
Get your CUDA on. I don't know. I mean, I played it on my iPad. It worked just fine. It didn't need anything fancy. It's actually that little thing is really neat. The way that they did it, like I could see like using that as a rhythm track for a certain kind of silly song. But yeah, Chris, you missed it. I say we gotta figure out how to get these hyper realistic masks, and we gotta be able to change so we can become each other. I think it'd just be cool.
We could just record each other on a green screen too.
It would also be cheaper to AI do like the deep fakes on each other.
Yeah, we should figure out how to do deep fakes with each other, and we can be Rob. We can be Rob. We can be Rob. You know, so yeah, right. It'd be great.
We could switch Rob and Rob, and then still be Rob and Chris.
Okay, admittedly, this is a little creeping me out.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah.
See, I don't think that's any special application, Rob. That's just put on your thing and it fools. But I mean, there's no mouth action, obviously.
Right, but
a girl has no name, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very Games of Thrones-ish.
Oh man.
See that? I mean, yeah.
If you see this walking down Rapongi, just go to a different part of town. Just if you see this guy coming, just go. You know, just move on. You know.
What they should do is make all the edges bloody and red, and that would be even better.
Gore face. Rob, did you watch Freaky yet?
No.
That's not our movie this week.
No, but Rob might enjoy Freaky. It all comes down to, do you like Vince Vaughn or not?
I find I mostly hate Vince Vaughn, but there are a couple things I like him in.
Yeah, it's totally a dice roll. If you like Vince Vaughn's performance in this movie, you will enjoy this movie. I
think it's a neat spin on that story. So there's that.
Yeah,
what story is it?
Freaky is just Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday, but it's about a serial killer and a girl.
Imagine that instead of Jamie Lee Curtis being the mom, Jamie Lee Curtis was Vince Vaughn, the serial killer.
That poor little girl. Wait, was he gonna kill her and then he swapped with her?
That you'll have to watch the movie, man.
Oh man,
it's fun.
I don't know. I don't always have the heart for these. You know, I don't want kids to get hurt, man.
I understand.
She's a bad kid, though, so
I gotta stop.
She never picked up a room. She did all kinds of bad stuff. Never did her homework.
The other one that I watched this week, Rob, have you seen Host?
Jesus, Rob. Host?
The South Korean horror movie? Host?
No, Host, the Zoom call haunting.
No.
Oh, come on.
It's 56 minutes long. It's 56 minutes long.
Every minute is on the screen, I'm sure.
I mean, it's they literally recorded a couple of edited together Zoom calls. I mean, it's not like a big budget production, but it's only 56 minutes long. And so it's given that it's as long as the average episode of any TV show, it's worth a watch. But that's not what I want for my. We started talking about this crap at the beginning of the quarantine, right? I want interesting media that's working with the restrictions of the modern times. But that was clever enough.
I think you got TikTok. I think you you had that sort of generation of TikTok people like Sarah Cooper and the rest, doing their thing.
It's true.
But I don't know. There's a guy who does bad imitations of The Crown that I enjoyed. And it's like 60 seconds. It's not taking a lot of your time to do it, and it's just being funny.
The two shows that I have on my list to eventually watch right now are The Crown and The Expanse. Neither of which I've seen, and both of which I'm like, I should probably buckle down and see those someday.
Oh, The Expanse, man, so good.
Okay, so a son sued his mom because she threw away his porno.
Okay. I'm worried that this is a local person to me, because on our local next door, there's this person who posts in the for sale or wanted group, and he says, I will buy your pornography. And I'm like, nope. This is not the ad you ever reply to, people.
Nope.
Yeah. No, this is some dude in Michigan who ended up moving with his parents and had to go to do something while he was gone. They were going through his stuff and found a bunch of his pornography and threw it away. So he sued them, and he won. And now they're going to the damages phase, and he's trying to get treble damages against them because he's saying them throwing away his porn is punitive in nature. And also, my favorite part of the story was that his father kept parts of his porn collection in a security box to show the police because he thought it might be illegal. And then they showed the police what he had, and the police were like, no, you can have that, it's fine. But I like that shot. I've been all morning trying to figure out what exactly was in there that this guy was like, I'm not sure that porn is legal. And cops are like, oh yeah, it's fine to have that.
No, it was just like 2 years of Vogue. How can that be legal? Vogue?
Who knows? Anyway, mostly I shared the story because I thought whoever got to write the title at MLive for this today was just having a fantastic time that he got to put in a Beastie Boys reference. So
son wins lawsuit after mom throws away his best porno mags. Yeah. It was in Grand Haven, Ottawa County, man. It's our home.
30-minute drive from where we grew up.
That's right. And
how proud you must be.
The other depressing thing is that he was 42, which means he's a 42-year-old man going through these shenanigans. It seems like that's not really what you want.
Dad, why'd you throw away my porn? Also, 42 is right around our age generally.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Who has physical porn anymore?
Right?
like if that guy was 60 or something, I could see that.
Right.
60 is only 10 years older than us, man. 12 years older than us. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It should be like if Wozniak went out and, I don't know, freaking bought some archaic crap like a VCR. But yeah.
So the last one that I had on the list, I've actually, for no particular reason, I don't know why, but YouTube started recommending to me a bunch of Donkey Kong related stuff.
I can't imagine why.
I know. But I actually watched a video. One of these videos that I watched was it was a couple of speedrunners essentially doing commentary on King of Kong, and their point was kind of, I think, not a surprise to any of us. But the main thing that I took away from their discussion was that it was obvious that the movie had an axe to grind against Billy Mitchell, and they were also in that movie, like, covering up certain features. They weren't going into very good detail about how twin galaxies and Billy Mitchell were actually, like, joined at the hip. They didn't cover that very well. And so there was a lot of biases. And their point was generally, this thing that happened in King of Kong doesn't happen anymore, really, because Twitch kind of leveled the playing field for people. There's no, like, secret videotapes or whatever. You know, you do your live stream, and you either did the thing you claimed to do or not. And there's a lot. So it's not nearly as I mean, it's still cutthroat and super competitive, but it's not as childish or as just douchey as those two were.
Well, it's sort of like, there's a reason we don't get videos on Twitch of Bigfoot or UFOs.
Right.
It's like, you had to have the unreliability of having to trust Billy Mitchell, having to trust You know.
So anyway, this video is interesting to me because I did not really truly understand what the strategies are in Donkey Kong. To me, Donkey Kong just looks like Donkey Kong. I never was super into it.
Yeah.
But this video actually explains the different tricks about the way that the scoring of Donkey Kong works, and they explain why after 30, 40 years, it is still like a thing where people competitively play it and it's still interesting. Like they explain the next level strategy behind it. I didn't know any of it and I thought that was really cool.
The idea that you can steer the barrels is, I had never heard that. That's amazing.
Yeah, the barrels have a probability of going down ladders that pressing the button, that depends on the direction, or if a button is being held down directionally. So if you are facing away or towards the barrels, the percentage probability of it going down changes. So it's strategy to jump and then face the other direction to give you a 25% chance shift of the barrels dropping or not. And there's a bunch of other little things about how the scoring and stuff works, but that's a big piece of it right there. I had no idea because I didn't understand. The other one that is crazy. And he kind of explains it right at the end.
Oh, edge jumping! Look at that.
There's crazy stuff, man. There's another thing about how you move at barrels move at a slightly different rate when they're on an incline versus when they're flat. And so if you are on an incline, you can jump backwards, and you can actually the hitbox for measuring scores of jumping over a barrel is wider if Mario is moving left to right. So you can hop backwards and double score off of barrels if they're on an incline. And it's like it's super advanced strategy. I don't know. I love this stuff. I'm fascinated by it. And this video is really neat.
It is neat.
That was my last item on my list. Do you guys have anything fun? There was a couple things in the channel.
The only other thing.
Oh, the Trump Hotel.
That I added is, yes, you can bid now.
What did? Oh, that the blowing up.
Yeah, you can bid to be the person who blows up the Atlantic City casino because it's being demolished, and that is the way they're raising funds now. That you can be the one to press the shiny red button.
Oh, and Bates shared his Resto PC that somebody's making, which is it's just a modern PC, but in a case that's designed to sort of stealth it to make it look like a 90s beige box. That one's pretty funny too. But I just posted both of those, but that was all I had on the list.
Okay, let's load them up here.
I got The Mandalorian to watch tonight. Did you guys watch Star Trek Discovery?
I did, and I've been enjoying it again.
I kind of didn't mind the mirror universe thing.
I thought it wasn't as good as first season Mirror Universe, but
sure, but it was fun.
That was actually the weakest part of the season for me. But yeah.
I absolutely detested the guy who's like, "I'm a time champion" or whatever.
The guy with the head, with the hair.
No, you're talking about the old guy who looks like he should play a cop on an episode of Rescue Me.
Or like, what are you really? I'm a time guardian, or whatever he says in a weird voice. So, he's some strange elemental entity or something. I don't know.
And they explained that he was actually that thing from season 2 of the original series. Which, weirdly enough, I had just watched that episode like a week ago, so I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. But what was the other thing about him? I was actually expecting, because his name was Carl, and I was expecting that they would decide that Carl was spelled with a Q. That was what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. I'm surprised it didn't.
Yeah. That would have been lower hanging fruit.
I hate Q.
But then you have to pay John Delancey.
And nope. I'm done with Q.
All right.
So.
Like I told you in channel, Mandalorian, one of my favorite parts is watching the concept art at the end of the show, because you get to see sort of what they turned in and then what the actual animators made. In particular, I like looking at the difference of the monsters and stuff like that, and occasionally the scenes will be a little different as well. But there's no concept art at the end of this episode, but there is a Marvel like trailer at the end. So don't shut it off until you've seen the very end to end.
Watch the zinger.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to press the goodbye button.
Do it.
Thank you, Chris DeBona.
Thank you, Robs.
Thank you, Rob Roseboom.
Yep. See ya.
This has been episode 555 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Takamoto. See you next week.